We
Oh,
are live. Sorry, Dave.
that's all good. It's all good. We normally yak too much anyways.
Yeah, I
You
didn't.
know, all the good stuff. Do we got Wi-Fi in the garage?
We do.
Can
We
you
do.
hear me? I got my earpiece in today.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect.
Nice. Nice. Last time for some reason it was a little bit on like the glitchy side. Like I would, like sometimes if I like overtalk you, I'll mute you out. And so it was
Oh,
I was
okay. Yeah.
I was trying the earbuds this time to see if maybe it wasn't so kind of glitchy.
Looks like Rusty's on here already.
Yeah, he says he's number one.
Yeah.
He probably is number one today. We were a little bit we weren't long distance losers, but we
Man.
got it we got it handed to us today.
Yeah. You know. You know. When when I put that, you seen me when I put that track up there, and it tapped the ceiling before I was even. I was a foot and a half away or 2 foot.
Yeah.
I knew right then and there I should go back and get 12 inch. I knew I should, and just thought, you know what, we can make this work.
I
Uh,
thought you were gonna have it, and then I could hear it was jamming up on the opener, and I was like, this is not good.
just a snowball effect. It was one
Right.
thing after another. But I went and got those. It was 19 minutes there, 19 minutes back. We were gone. We were out of there. I think by 4ish or so.
Nice.
It went
Nice.
smooth. Once, yeah.
Now I forget, is it the verticals, they're the same for 12 and 15, right? Are they the same height?
Now on that door
Uh-oh.
that we took out, you seen how the track was so much different. You seen how that
Well,
radius, it had some of the vertical in it.
Well, and that reminds me of a wood door. I see a lot of wood doors that confuse me on those, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So what I do now, it's pretty custom for me, is I used to get spoiled because our secretary would all I have to do is give her floor to ceiling and then she would calculate it so everything would fit. And then what I do now is I actually will I'll do floor to the bottom of that horizontal track. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that way, when I go home or whatever, if I'm at the shop or something, I'll measure something and go, oh, okay, it's in the ballpark, half an inch or something, or I go, no, that's got to be 15 up there already. And normally the only time I that one you couldn't tell, but normally we can tell on those ones because how they pin up in the corner. If it's on the
Oh,
top,
yeah, yeah, because it opens
that's
that
15.
leg out. Mhm.
Right, if it's down, that's what my normal rule of thumb, but I still sometimes will measure the track just to be safe. So I was telling the
Well,
wife trying, I said, I gotta put a note on that detail. I said that it also says, floor to bottom of the horizontal track would be helpful.
yeah, yeah. I Yeah, it was like I couldn't believe how everything just fell right together. I thought, oh, geez, why didn't you do this an hour or two ago, dude?
Yeah, yeah, it's hindsight's 2020, it's just how it goes. I'm glad it went really smooth though, huh? That 12, it was just
Oh
perfect.
yeah, oh yeah. It
Um,
went smooth. I went and did another job, and I mean, I was still tired, but
How
that
how much um how much
that
room did you have for the opener, you think?
what's that?
How much room did you have with the opener when it was still in the radius swinging? What was it, like
Oh,
maybe an
for
inch or two?
with the 12-inch radius,
Yeah.
went back to the smaller top brackets. When I got there, Jeff had the top brackets, or maybe you did it. I don't know.
Yeah. That
They
was
were
that was me.
smaller top brackets, and everything was ready to go. And uh, I had, oh man, I had 4 or 5 inches. I was using a back hanging of 3 holes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we changed it to 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it
Wow.
really
Is
opened it up.
is
Yeah.
that why you were fighting with the opener back there? I know you were trying to squeeze it up there. And so I didn't catch that part. I just figured that's kind of how it was before, and you were trying to mimic it again, and
Yeah, I was just
just
trying to make it tight as I could. And I mean,
yeah.
I loosened it from the ceiling and loosened it, got everything kind of bolted, and then I was just gonna, you ever do that? Get it so
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, I tried.
What you got the fire department back behind you or something?
It
My
sounds
gosh.
like it, doesn't it?
My
They're
gosh,
run,
somebody's house is blazing out there.
they're running. I mean, I
Yeah.
hear normally it's motorcycles and stuff racing up and down the street.
Oh,
I went
gotcha.
over I went over one night at 2 a.m. There's a bunch of bars right over here. I went
Oh.
over at 2 a.m. There's guys out there just doing donuts, ripping.
Mm,
They'd been drinking. It's like, what
right.
a move.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I went to my cop friend up the road right here. I said, man, tell your sergeant tonight they better have somebody sitting out there because I want to be able to sleep. Didn't haven't
Right.
heard that shit going on.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's nice.
yeah. I said
Yeah.
just have somebody sit there. You can get some DUIs.
Right. Right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. There's a place down from the shop that's a bar, and man, they just go ripping, and like you said, you hear them all firing up, and they're just buzzing out of there, just like drunken sailors.
yeah,
Hello, kitty.
yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it worked out because I caramba.
Man, yeah. I sent you a video. It ran smooth. Um, I'm gonna always take 12 with me anymore.
You think so?
I'm gonna have it on the truck.
Well, I mean, for one though, you detailed that job, didn't you?
Hmm.
So I mean, just
Two
another.
months ago or something.
Right, right.
They took forever. I tell you the truth. I left a sample with them, and I put a hinge on their door while I was there. I said,
Oh,
"Since you're buying a door, don't worry about it. I'm not going to bill you. But if you decide not to buy a door, I'm gonna send you a bill." So I
right,
told. Hell, I
right.
couldn't remember where they lived. I
Yeah,
couldn't remember
that
customer.
gentleman had nothing but good things to say about you.
What's that?
I said that customer had nothing but good things because when you were gone,
Yeah.
he was out there yakking. So,
I do work over at his wife. His wife works at a security place, and I've done some work for her. They're nice people.
oh yeah,
Nice,
yeah, they're
and that's the thing, with this YouTube. Um, he was in the house watching us.
right,
He
right.
was there watching us, and that kind of makes him feel a part of it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and it just puts the customer in so much better mood, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
No, it's great. Like I said,
I really do. Yeah, because I had just told him, I said, you were a YouTube
right, right,
and, mind if I video? Well, he
right.
must me up right away because he goes, yeah, I got you on in there. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Well, was he the one that came out and told you the audio or something wasn't working, so you
yeah,
knew?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's everybody else was hollering on there because I didn't go look at it. Yeah,
Yep,
every-
yep.
well, somebody called. I got a phone
Oh,
call. That's what does it every time.
messes it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I guess Rusty does say the sidetracks are the same for 10, 12, 15, 20. So that makes sense,
Hmm.
which is good, which is good. Because when you went to go get the tops, I kept going, are the sides different? I mean, I know we cut them, but that's always a really weird dynamic. I never, that one was just too tight. I mean, just no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
I mean, the opener was a problem. If we could have got the opener up or something, we would have been better. But
Yeah.
I've cheated that, for any of the, kind of newer people, where I've cut out of the radius and I've drilled, and it's like you're working with a very engineered product, and you start doing that, and it's going to bite you somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just like I told the customer. I just felt like I was rigging it. And man, I don't want to rig
Yeah.
something. Unless it's a custom job.
Right.
That was a custom job.
Right.
That
Right.
was slam bam. But
Oh yeah. Well, I just had one. She messaged me actually on the way down, and she said, "Hey, did you get a chance? It's a rental." And I said, "Yeah." I looked at it. I said, "I'm getting a parts list together," and I said, "I really think you should put an opener on it because it's got extension springs and stuff." Well, then it's funny because when you figure out the details, then she tells me, "Oh, well, I'm just going to fix it up and I'm going to actually sell it." I said, "Oh, well," I said, "that changes everything." I said, "So,"
yeah,
I said, let's just slap it back together because it's got extension springs, it's got a T handle on it." I said, I'll get it running. They don't need no parts. But if it was going to be your rental, a rental for you, this is what I would do. Like I'd put a torsion spring on it. I put
yeah,
an opener. So instead of having customers yanking clothes, it's a decent size garage. Somebody could still pull a car in there if they wanted to. And, but she's like, now that she's selling it, it's like, oh, well, I'll just
yeah.
make it look pretty. It's crooked right now. So, but I can make it look pretty.
That's like the customer that I went to after the job. He he it was a rental, and I get there and the door looks brand new. It's a Safeway
Hmm.
door, and it's wrinkled. They
Uh,
just wrinkled. It's on a excuse me. It's on an extreme opener, dirt cheap opener,
yeah. Yeah.
vinyl back door, so it's already a cheaper door.
Hmm.
They brought it down on their dog cage, and it
Ooh.
wrinkled.
Ooh.
Which the dog cage, it probably didn't. It was probably seeing right through it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it totally trashed the door. And I get there, and he's wanting to put a new door in,
Mm.
and I'm like, he goes, I am not happy about it. I said, well, why are you putting in a new door then? I said, they're just gonna tear it up again.
Right.
I said, let me throw some struts on here. I said, I can get that thing working, build it
Mhm.
up. And I said, I can get it working. And he's like, you know, he said, I'll tell you what, how much are those struts? He said, I'll just follow you over to your shop. I'll buy them from you. I said, okay. He says,
Hmm.
I'm pissed off. He says, I don't think I'm going to fix it till after Christmas. I said,
Whoa,
yeah.
really?
I said, really? He goes, where's those screws that you took out of that? I said, they're in my pocket. He goes, let me borrow your gun. He took that self tapper, ran it through the track right above the roller on each
Wow.
side, so now you can't even
Oh.
door.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
that a boy. He
Nice.
was pissed. He says,
Nice.
they ain't opening the door till
Nice.
I'm ready for him to open. Oh,
That
he said, let's go get those struts. I was like, oh, sweet.
that's cool. That's cool.
That's great. Yeah.
I see Rusty up here. He says, "Who measured? You measured that door, I assume, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
when you were there?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you had Jeff or something."
No, I did it. I did it. It was my fault. It was my fault. The thing was, it was just my records, you know. I knew what kind of door it was. Did I measure it good? I like to run my mouth and talk to the customer more than
Yeah. Yeah,
anything.
I know. I get it.
You know, I just I'll admit, I effed up. Effed up, you know.
It
Shit happens.
happens. It happens. I
That's why I said, hell, if I'd have had my 12 radius, that'd have been nothing. It'd have been,
Right.
let's just switch these out. Boom.
Right. Right. Right.
But the I should have never tried to make it work. I put
Yeah.
more time there.
Yeah. Well, and for the new guys and some of the seasoned vets, obviously too. I mean, we gotta. That's always. I think that's what Wayne Dalton used to have on their chart. It was always. I forget why they always said it, but they'd always ask, "Is the floor level?" And I was told through the Lowe's and stuff, and through Wayne Dalton at one time, they always said, "You circle no," because that way, on their records, anyways, if the door doesn't seal, and that was that is one of those things that, myself included, I still sometimes can overlook where it's like, a door's broke or crooked. You tear it out, you go to install your new door, and you're like, ooh, you're like, it's not sealing that good. Well, it's a concrete issue that you can't fix. And then, so now you gotta, I was just talking about that, I think on another video that'll come out eventually. And I was talking about not putting bigger weather seal on there, that big loopy stuff, 3-inch stuff, whatever, or that 4 or 6 inch. They got all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
And so there's that. But I always remember the floor to ceiling. Hello. The floor to ceiling is a big, and then I always do my track. I do any obstructions, like if there's a light bulb, I'll do that as a floor to ceiling too as well. But I'll write on the notes like floor to light bulb. So I just have any of those things. That way I can go back and meditate. It's how I do it. You know what I mean? So it's like
That
I
was
at
my
least got it, you know.
not good notes, not good note taking. I don't think I had that your detail.
Yeah.
I'd have been in my white truck, and that's in the van. You
Yeah.
know,
It's kind of
I didn't have it, so it just scribble, scribble, and then 2 months later, I get a text, "Hey, we're gonna go with it." Oh, okay. I
right.
home. I went over again and
Yeah.
made outside. I already knew it. I already worked on. It, knew what kind of door it was, so I thought, oh yeah,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it was just my fault.
No, it happens. Like I said, I think I'm gonna try to make I was actually just talking to the wife Tron tonight about it, and I said thought about possibly making like a. I want to do the one that we have our sheet. I don't know if I got one right here. This sheet we used to always have carbon copies. I'm still a paper person,
Uh huh.
but I need to modify a few things. We need a little more room, and like I don't think we have email on here. That's one thing that's changed over the years. Now email's everything because we
Oh
use
yeah.
Jobber. But this is carbon. This is a carbon copy, so I
Oh
used
yeah.
to have it. And then what I think I did the best is I'd give the customer my notes. I could pretty much read through the carbon, but the problem was once you got to about the third or fourth page, you couldn't really see it, so you had to push really hard. But
Yeah.
I'd give this a receipt. I'd give this to them, and then I'd have the copy of what I did and stuff, and bring it back to the shop, and it get filed away. But I have that sheet that I gave you, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that. I was telling her, I said, I don't know if I want to make it a carbon copy, but I want to make it cleaner. And I know a company that can do it for me where they'll straighten it up and make it look better, and I can add a few things to it. Because
Uh huh.
honestly, we just took that one from Lowe's.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean that I'd like to add like the Florida bottom of the track would be nice. Things like that. A Surewinder though, that was pretty nice. I think I found the one that you said for sale up in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Like something Dale or Ashdale or Ash.
Yeah, something.
Got to
Yep.
get you. You would
He's
you would love it.
Yeah, I think that was nice.
You
I was
look
thinking
good, by the way. You look good. Hey, Ricky, you should have seen him. We're saying he looked like a kid there holding that Surewinder.
that was nice. I thought, well, it kind of works out because actually, if I still have the spring turner, which that's made for commercial, anyways. I thought, and I don't mind that for commercial because those are big turns, but it's just so big and clunky for residential. It's like
Mm.
that one
Yeah,
fits in your hand real nice.
just quick. Boom, boom.
Mhm.
Once you get the hang of it, it's nothing.
Oh, I know. It's a muscle. I mean, it's just like when I was letting Caleb do mine, I told him, I said, it's just muscle memory. I said, you're going to have to learn how to do everything. And just same thing with a Surewinder. It's just, I'm sitting there like, what now? Oh, okay. It's a feel. You gotta start learning the feel, the clicks and all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what Rusty had here. He's something about Clopay sides are always 8 inch shorter than door height. Oh,
Is
huh.
he vertical track?
Ooh. What about the track? You said
Is
what
that
part? What?
Rusty?
Yeah, Rusty said something about he just says Clopay sides are always 8 inch shorter than the door height.
Vertical track. Yeah, it's always. Hmm. Yeah, you should have seen this one, Rusty. I think it's like overhead 311. I think that's what it was. But hell, it had probably 3 to 4 inches of the vertical in it.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I see it, if you look at it,
You,
you go, "Oh, that's 15 all day."
you were like, when you held those up, you're like, what's with this? One,
Right.
it's a foot longer. It seemed like.
Kevin's guy says, "Didn't see the live earlier. Did you team up with Tony today?" I did, Kevin. We teamed up. I got to play with the Surewinder. Rich B said, "How did the door go? I had to leave. It was a
We had
bloodbath."
12 inch radius.
Yeah.
It was them effing doors. Just one of them days. And the
Yep.
top
He just.
fall off. I get a phone call. Jeff's pulled over by the cops.
Oh my gosh! I couldn't believe you sent me that.
Oh yeah. He got pulled over. I had to go over there. He couldn't find the title to the trailer.
Ah,
And I said, "Oh, it's probably in the van." Well, I get there, it's not in the van. Find all these different registrations, the one for that trailer. And
uh,
big complaint was the cop said, "Where's the sticker?" It had no expiration. And Jeff
oh,
said, "It don't expire. It's a one-time plate."
right.
Well, so he gets that taken care of. I By the time I get there, I walk up to the cop car and I said, "I'm the owner of the truck and the trailer." I said, "I can't find the registration.
Right.
It could be in another truck or back of the shop." He says, "Oh, we got that taken care of." He says, "I'm working on the other problem." Well,
Mm.
we had no lights on the trailer.
Oh,
I went
oh.
into shit and knocked them out.
Yep.
None of the trailers have lights anymore.
Right, right, right.
Just They just don't. Either if they have them, they don't work, whatever. But they're all flatbeds that you could see the tail lights. And I've always thought that if you could see the tail lights in
Yeah,
F, that ain't the case,
right.
which I got to pay.
Oh. What they hit you for on that? They tell you right away, or you gotta send something in?
How much? Oh, no,
Yeah.
to,
He's gonna
he's,
what?
oh, I don't
Oh.
know.
Oh.
It's probably going to be $150 or better.
Oh, I'm sure it's over $100,
All right.
120 or something.
Hit the other
Yeah.
day, stoplight. Yeah, I caught it and two people ran it behind me
Oh,
and they pulled me over. I'm like,
what?
what about the car that was in between us?
Right,
Why didn't you pull him over?
right.
I seen you. Well, how'd the get in between us then, buddy? God,
Right.
fuck.
Oh, never fails.
Yeah, that was over by the college. The college cops over here, they're they're dicks.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get that. I
yeah.
get that. Out of the door, let's see, maybe I should have asked, which has got pictures. Pictures help too. Don't really got too many pictures because they're all on file somewhere. Uh, Rusty's guy says we still use all paper copies and file it after paid or left bill. And my sister and mom adds it into the QuickBooks. The
Yeah.
QuickBooks.
We're gonna. I think we're gonna start using. Is it Joyce? Joss? Joy? I don't even know. I
We
have
we use we use Jobber.
job. She wouldn't. My daughter-in-law, she's going to do it for me, and she looked at Jobber, but she don't think we need that.
No.
Something Joyce. I want to say Joyce or something. She was going to come
All,
over, but I was out working.
all I know is like what I've really liked about Jobber is it's like to me, it reminds me of using Google. It's very animated, it's very, punchy. And then, um, like I said, you might really want to try a twister arm. If it's a price thing, then I understand. But if it's, I don't know what Joyce or whatever will have to offer versus Jobber. But the beautiful thing is, I never had one employee complain about it. Like everybody can use it. When we use this other software, we paid like three, and the thing what sold me with Jobber was um, they just paid. I don't know if they still do this, but it was just monthly, and so they said you can cancel anytime, no hassles, and that's what got me because otherwise I spent like $3,000 to $5,000 up front, and I got this stuff. I got it sent, put on my computer. We had to get like licenses to use on certain phones, and we only had so many. And we started. It was like using Microsoft, just horrible. Like this is like nobody wanted to use it. And then what I like about Jabber is they seem like they keep improving, and it's very animated. So we put a lot of pictures. We can put pictures. I think we can do video on it too, short videos.
Mm.
Um, so it's just like I can't do it because I'm on my phone and say I can go like on my phone. I can look at the guys' schedules for the day. Whoever puts, it seems like you can definitely like um, everybody can see it. All the secretaries, that are across the state of Michigan. Everybody's that and QuickBooks is all we use, and that seems like that's. I just like that we've had it for I don't know, maybe 6, 8 years now, and not one person. This thing's not working. Where when we were using the other stuff, it was like it's not downloading. It's
Yeah.
this or that. It was like real glitchy. Where like every day it'll show me like I can see the numbers projected for the day, what estimates, and you can see it just is. It's just so user friendly for the owner. You can go so deep in it if you want, But I just like that you can look. There'll be stuff in there that people have time off, and um, I just like too that you can put pictures. That's the big thing, and it's just all there. You know what I mean? So, um, like you could like what I do is I would fill out one of those papers, and then I would take a picture of it and have their
Uh,
name on it, and I would load that in. So that would be the notes. So anybody can go to it because I always like to pretend that if I get hit next week by a truck and I'm in the hospital, somebody's got to pick up from me. And basically either the two secretaries or my wife could jump in and they could say, okay, Dave's got these on the notes. He took pictures. He's got the colors. Here's the customer. Here's the phone number. Here's the price he gave them, and they could just basically take over.
uh,
So that's what's nice about it. So I can't say anything bad about them. That's the other company. If I could think of the name, I don't even think they're out there for advertising. They were horrible. They were horrible, horrible people, and so it's just one of those things that when depending on whatever way you would go, it's just the biggest thing is don't spend money up front. Where they're going to charge you 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000. Say, we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like,
Because they let us make payments, but and it was good for like life, but it was so horrible to use. And I remember the guy that was my foreman at the time, and he was just like, I'm like, we got to do something else. And he's like, no, he's like, we can't. We already spent the money. And I'm like, bull crap. I was like, I just
mm,
told him, I said, college isn't free. I said, we learned something. I said, we got to move on. I said, nobody, I said, all this employee's having a hard time with it. And I said, if I'm, the owner and I said, I'm struggling with it, how do I expect other people to use it? You can do job costing so you can see your guy too, like if they clock in, so you can see what that it'll job cost out for you. So like you can, if you got your numbers punched in, you can see, okay, well, he took 6 more hours. So instead of making $1,000, we only made $300, and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
So it can go really depth or it can be pretty just vague if you want it. And I just like that it's real universal. And it's like using Google. So if you can use Google, you can pretty much use this where it's like it guides you what to do, step by step versus like you ever use like Microsoft DOS or try to use Microsoft Word and you're just like, what is this Excel sheet? What the is, and then XYZ equals, and you're like, I'm done. Let's see what these comments got here.
Yeah. Kevin says Dave missed the chance to stick Surewinder. You know what? When I got back, Dave, I got
It wasn't in the thing, was it?
it wasn't in there. I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna go up there and get him. And I said, Jeff, I said, where's the Surewinder? He says, oh, I got it over here laying on the floor. I Dave took it. That's the bill.
Well, you wanna know something? When I put that opener together, I stuck the remotes in my pocket. So luckily, I did a pat down before I left. I thought, "I'll just check my pockets just to make sure."
That's all
So
right,
I'm like, "What
man.
the hell are these?" And I'm "Oh, like 2 remotes." I'm like, "Ooh." I would've got a phone call, "Where's my remotes, man?"
Yeah, that's all right.
They're in my pocket."
Yeah, that wouldn't have been
So
a big thing. Jeff would have said, "I don't know where they went. Uh, who put the out there?"
yeah, it was, I seen that because I was talking to the customer, I seen the Surewinder too, and I was telling him, I say, "Oh, yeah, this thing, I wanted to use it," and I'm, like, looking for it too, and I'm like, "I guess Jeff took it out to the car with him or something," and then I seen it over in the corner there, "Oh," I said, "It's sitting over there."
Yeah,
Let's see, it should have asked. Um, I wonder if anybody watching, if they know what you can cut out of the track, though, out of the bottoms. I think it's inch and a half
I
is the
think so.
max.
So much more than that, and
It
you're
screws things up.
yeah, you can't get your top brackets out. You're kind of defeating the purpose. Now you're got your brackets out so far. It's still
Right, right, exactly.
yeah.
Leave earlier. What's he got on here? Am I missing something? What's this? Still copies, Miss Chance. I've seen some ads for wireless trailer lights. Might be
Yeah,
worth looking into.
yeah. Jeff actually has a set. I don't know if he had an older set, but he said the magnets weren't very good. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think I'm just gonna wire them all up, get new lights for them, and that's a good winter project. Back them in here and work on them.
yeah, I seen those wireless ones, and when I seen it, I went, "Oh man!" I said, "Somebody took my idea." I said that I always, but they're close. But what I still wanted to do was have them be battery operated, but then you have a box in your truck that you would switch. In case your harness is bad and by the bumper, you could be in there at least got something. So when you're hitting the brake, oh, you hit a button
Oh
or
yeah,
something,
man.
I'll hit right,
Yeah,
just get you out of jail type thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Just oh, I'm turning left. Oh, let me hit the toggle, or even if you sit there and hold it, or just it's got a timer for a few seconds. Um, that was always something I wanted, because it never fails. You borrow somebody's trailer or just your own. You need it that day. I've done it just like you. We got to go. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, lights aren't working, man. I got time to be looking at that. So it's, if you could just throw something on real quick, hey, we satisfied the law.
I've always thought if you could see the truck lights or the vehicle lights, and you were getting that
Yeah,
ain't
I think that's changed because I know years ago, Joe, when he worked for me, he went down the road of Apple. He come back and I was kind of, I came out of the office. I said, Joe, I said, what's going on, man? Oh, God darn cop pulled me over. Oh, really? And see, I always was pretty accustomed to always, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I always put a red flag on it. Well, I guess that cop told him because he had it in the van. He said 3 feet past the taillights,
yeah.
you got to have it flagged. So, but like for me, even I still just, you know, flag them up, whatever I'm doing, just to try to be like, that way when the accident happens, be like, man, I put 3 flags on it. I don't, what else could I've done?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Chance, Kevin, seen some ads. Oh, that's the one. How much is Jabber per month? I'll find out for you, Rusty. I don't remember if it's. I'm sure it's up in the $200 range somewhere by now. I know it used to be in the hundred something change, but I don't know what it costs. I'll see if I can find a number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Some- We're getting so busy, my brain can't hold it all.
oh, that was what that's what I ran into, and then and that's why I was just explaining to Caleb. Oh, I was thinking I wanted to ask Rusty this too because um, I think he got like was it 46 or something inch radius or not radius, but a high lift, and it was wrong. And I was thinking, well, what was the procedure for on Rusty's end? Because like Do you get confirmations, Tony, from Service Spring?
that the
Yeah.
doors come.
Well, like when we would place orders through like Wayne Dalton and stuff, we would normally, it'd be like a day or two later. They would send us a confirmation after hours.
I get a like an email
Yeah.
that from Al, or it'll say Al Service Springs, and it'll be like maybe the bill, or
Okay.
you know, or just
Does it
re.
does it break down though? Like it shows like the door, the radius, how many struts.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do get that stuff. Do
So,
I get a call the last minute, like when they're coming in. I just happen to call them and say, "Hey, Monday." I said, when am I gonna get that one door?" And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have that to you tomorrow." I'm like,
oh,
God, I called.
right,
I
right.
wouldn't have. I got to schedule that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
exactly.
two things I would like for Service Springs to work on with the Invicta door. Giving me a call in advance. Let me know, hey, Thursday your door is going to be there. Tuesday, whatever.
Mm,
Call in advance, and you've seen on the hardware boxes they had that white sticker.
yeah.
I had to write single car, double car,
Oh,
what was in the box.
oh,
That
yeah.
I didn't, but S7, that's the 7 foot high single car door. I didn't know that at the time, but it'd be
Okay,
note spot. They could have wrote, and then
right.
put spring, because we had no idea. They don't mark the springs. They just, here's 3 springs.
Yep, yep.
You know,
Yeah, the rich B doors kind of do that a little bit. This time, I don't know if it's just they're starting to improve or they just, had time to do it, but this time they wrote actually on the box, 16 by 7,
yeah.
9 by 7. But,
Well, Opay,
you know,
they always had a nice sticker.
yeah,
That
yeah,
job name. I mean, every information.
right,
Every,
right, right. Yeah, I get that. That's very helpful when you got a lot of stuff coming in.
the only thing, but other than that, I mean, I thought the doors looked good. Did you see the video I sent you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, looks great.
See how I started the video
You
with
said something or
with the
yeah,
genie
yeah.
pull.
That's why I said something. I said the G because when I seen I for whatever reason when you first sent it, I seen the cord. I
Yeah,
thought, what the hell is this? I thought he's at a different job having problems or
yeah.
something. And so I clicked on it and I'm watching the background. I'm like, no, it's the same job. And I'm thinking, like, what an a-hole. I said he put
I would
he put a
I would
genie.
put a genie in there.
I
See
thought
what Jeff
I
watch
thought
it. I put that on there,
I thought
and then
if
I
that
with that first. I thought, oh, he'll catch that. He'll
thought, thought if that customer only knew who he was dealing with.
He does now. He probably watched it, probably
Right.
notified on his phone.
You probably get a phone call tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
You gotta change out my red handle. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
match.
I want a Chamberlain handle.
Right. Yeah.
That
He didn't.
you got a kick out of. He says, "I don't need a handle." He said he just reached up
Yeah.
there. I said, "Quit."
Right.
It's not short people.
Right.
You know.
He, he showed me that too. And I just was like, "Well, I'm still gonna take a picture so that way he's got it. So 'cause I was sitting there thinking, gosh, I hope he gets back to me because I was thinking, well, I was thinking he probably doesn't need those big fixtures anymore, so I might as well take those. And I was like, I better tell him though, in case he's like, oh man, I might have had a chance. And it's like, well, make
Yeah,
sure you bring some.
yeah, yeah. I looked. I couldn't find any. It was
No.
fun. I cracked open another box, 16 by 7. They had the small ones in it.
Well, like I said, that's overkill. But maybe I don't know if Rich B knows anything about those or not. But I like I said, when I all I can get is I think they give that option to you. So because sometimes when you're doing like we do the GDO bracket,
Hmm.
and it's like, ooh, I really want this thing to swing as fast as possible. So sometimes I'll bring that strut down a little bit and I'll mount it over. I
Yeah.
think I just did that in the last one, and it was perfect. So or you can bring them down, and then I don't know what the whole controversy is. Some people will say, you got them on the wrong way. They flip them. You do whatever you
Well,
got to do.
notice if you flip them and the roller goes up second,
Yeah.
that putting that top of that door is going higher. If you're one
Right.
quick, you want the roller up there.
Right. Right. Exactly. I agree. I've had something that was screaming where there's nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yeah.
speed is key. So I'm like, whatever. That way I can use a screw gun if I have to or something. But I get people like I do them the regular way, and they're like, "Those are odd. You're supposed to be able to get." And I'm like, okay. I'm like, maybe you haven't been doing garage doors very long, or so. I don't know. I'm just like, to me, it doesn't do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Some of these comments. Paper. Was it 1.5 out of vertical?
Yeah.
Was it says on 11/2 inch out of radius? What's the 11 mean? Then 11/2 out of the radius for 15 to 12. Gotcha. It just still never feels the same. It's just better to have 12. It's like more bent for it. It just, you know,
Yeah.
I've had it where I've cut them before, and it's like then the track's not lining up, or I'm
I'm
like,
not,
I gotta cut it
not
again.
ordering. I'm not ordering 15 no more. I don't think. You
I
know
think
what?
you should
What do I
just.
care if it rolls in that radius? I want to get in and out.
Oh yeah,
That
exactly.
door, that door when I got it, that rolled so nice in there. I
Yeah,
thought, what the heck?
yeah. I never notice it
Told me,
unless it's
told me the 15. I mean, it's just a smoother radius, but
yeah,
it worked nice and smooth. Those
yeah.
doors good. I was pretty impressed with the look of them.
Yeah, I don't really 12 doesn't normally bother me. The only time is like Wayne Dalton used to have some really tall section. I think there were 3. I think they gave you 15-inch for them, but they felt like huge pieces of plywood trying to go through a big, whoop,
Mm,
whoop, when it was going through. It's like, and they'd be so far in the jam and the radius, it's almost like a knock you in the head when it was going
yeah,
up. It's like, geez, it's like this is just, it looks good outside, but boy, it runs hard.
yeah,
Let's see which LED lights. Tow companies have the wireless ones with magnets. Oh, they got the big boy stuff. Kind of makes sense. Maybe for like semis, they put them on the hoods and stuff.
yeah,
What's Rusty got here? It says 54-inch on the order paper. The factory just sent. Oh, okay, so it was 54. So they did a boo boo. That's fine. No, I'm always trying to find. I think the guys used to think, or the secretary, like basically that you're going to get fired, and that wasn't the case. It was just that was why, for me, um, also why I always had to have a signature from the customer because there was just too many things, and kind of like you, Tony. You're just starting to get so busy that you can't remember everything and keep everything together. And like I said, I've gone to a customer one time and installed it, and they're like, guy shows up and he's like, why is it a brown door? Is that like the packaging? And I'm like, no, I'm like, it's a brown door. And he's like, it's not supposed to be brown. And I'm like sitting there kind of going, yeah, it doesn't really match, and I'm like, so the heart starts pumping, it's like, and they're like 12 by 14 doors or something, I'm just like, I'm sitting there seeing dollar bills leaving my wallet, and,
mm,
or hiring a painter. And so
yeah,
I go back to my clipboard, and that's how we used to kind of run it. We used to put everything, as a job progressed, everything went on the confirmation, the customer signature. And so I bring that to the job, and I start going through it, and lo and behold, there's the customer signature. And I said, I like kind of, sir, is this your signature? And he's like, I guess we forgot to send you the email that we were changing the color of the siding. And I'm just like, but, sir, you signed it. Did you not read it? I mean, and it was like, he's like, it's fine. I'll just hire somebody. We'll get them painted. I'm just like,
yeah,
whatever, dude. Like, that's on you. But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I came out here, did the detail. Did I tell the secretary something wrong, or did she screw it up, or did it get just some through the chain of events? Did it get messed up? And I'm just like, if there was no signature,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
oh,
this,
I got an email, whoopie to doo dah,
well, Jeff got there before me this morning because I had to come back and get sawhorses,
Oh,
and and we didn't have the right address.
Yeah.
It wasn't 35, it was 25.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I didn't
I
know
s
that. I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, if as you go into the cul-de-sac, set right the top left corner of the top that house right there. He says, where the green doors are? I said, I don't know what color the doors are. He said, well, the green ones, they look brand new. They painted the doors
Oh, that's
from
right.
the time that they had extra paint. They painted their
Yeah.
so they painted the doors green,
Yep.
what it
Yep.
looked like, and that's probably when they said, nah, let's go with tan. Then they
Yep.
were so yeah, they look like brand. Jeff pulls up, they look like brand new doors in there. I'm like,
That's
he had dress starting before the day started. I'm like, I don't freaking know.
yeah, that's why, because when I looked too on Google, like I said, it would pull it up, like, kinda like how you sent a screenshot, but I'm like,
I
I'm looking on, I'm zooming into the houses, and I'm like, "I do not find this address because I was trying to figure out where I might have to park or if it's, what's gonna be, like, the situation.
yeah.
Um, but see, like, now that's a really odd one because they painted it, that's not normal, but that right there, see, like, if like, that stuff right there, where if you had a picture, if you said if you get into a and I don't even have this down 100%, but I do know I try to take, like, I'll even go out by the road, and I'll literally take pictures out by the roads because if I knew it was hard for me to find for the guys, because they might be
Yeah.
pulling, a truck and a trailer and a scissor lift, and they got cars jammed up on them, and that's gonna be when they're bam, they get rear-ended. So what I do is I'll take pictures by the road, the mailbox or something. I'll take a picture of, like, oh, it's a long driveway. I'll take a picture of the house, and then that way it leads them up to, like that's why I'm always a huge picture person. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what did you not see that there's a tree in the yard, or there's this car or a motorcycle, or the house is got this and this pitch roof, and did you not see that? Now, like I said, that the one would have threw me a little bit because I would have automatically thought probably, did they already have somebody else come install garage doors? So,
Mm-hmm.
do I want to go up there and I'm looking
That's
like
what I was thinking this morning. Thinking, what? Did it take too long to get these doors?
right
Yeah,
now?
they look.
Did you? This is a good example for people too. Did you collect half down on this job though?
I never do.
So like that would have
Ra-
been,
Very rare that I
you
get.
know,
I had a lady pay me in advance for the whole door,
right,
and I don't take the money. And the only reason I don't take any money up front is because I knew a guy that lost his Google account because of he lost the court in court, blah 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 blah, all because he took half down. I thought,
hmm.
I can afford to lose. The guy screwed me over right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
but they're white.
right,
I them. I mean, I'm not. I don't care. You know, I
yeah,
would rather it come out on me than and I have to go to court. They say I didn't do something where I don't. If I don't have any money involved with them, they can't do.
right. Well, no, no, but you could always, if you're good for it, you could always. So, like, another thing I always did, because if I knew something was a little suspicious, I'd have them cut me a check. I wouldn't cash the check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that way, I had something, so they psychologically knew, because my neighbor always told me. He says money makes people funny, and he says they don't. He goes, I never forget somebody that owes me money.
Yeah.
And so I always look at it like when you tie their money up, because I've had it happen probably 2 or 3 times in the business where, something took a little longer. We just didn't have a fast vendor. And, we, and my big thing is we wasted our time. And for me, I go, I'm not getting any younger. I only have so many days on this earth. And I go, I'm not screwing around with your pettiness, where I go, like, I'm not showing up, which we did. We show up and it's like, "Hmm, that looks like a new garage door," so it's kinda like you still gotta go through with it, and it's like bang, bang, bang. "Hey, we're here to" now normally a phone conversation will also, you know, "We already got our door replaced." And you're like, "What?" But I've had people just either not answer, we had them scheduled like a week or 2 out, we never followed up the day before, go out there, you know what I mean? And it's like and then the problem was for me is I'm bringing a helper, or I'm paying guys to go out there, and now my day is just that's why I'd be in that shop in that office, and it was ring, ring, ring. Hey, door's not going to go in. What do you mean? Well, and then it's panic. It's got to reschedule. Well, let me get this job. Can we get somebody coming out? Well, I'm not home. I'm at work. If I would have known, last night, oh my gosh, you know. And then it also just helps because, um, I was kind of thinking about like with Evan, I was messaging Evan. Somebody needs to message Evan. He should be out here. But around here. I was giving him some crap because uh, I just told him, I said, hey, I said, you got to get, a cable maker. And I said, you need to get some cables. And I said, you really need to start getting some springs. I said, because you need to turn and burn these customers faster. That was my light bulb moment when I started realizing that, I'm going out to this job. I could repair it right now if I had the springs, and then boom, I'm done. I get paid. I don't have to worry about it because he sent me something. He got the customer. He ordered the stuff, and I think he said the swedges weren't the right size. They wanted to like pop off the bottom brackets real easy. So he ended up like taking a zip tied them tighter, so
Oh,
there was
oh, oh, oh. Yeah,
on
yeah,
the on the buttons. So and I mean normally they don't when they got tension, but if the door bounces a little bit, maybe like with a jack shaft or something, you're running it. Ugh, that's scary. You could have a problem. So I understand his grief, but if he had the stuff to fix that little bit, just either have the swedges or hand bang them or just have the tool. And I
yeah,
just told him, I was like, you really need to get the kit. I said, because I said, it's metal. I said, it'll last forever. They will rust if you scratch them up bad enough and leave them water. But I said, everything is nice and organized. And you can go out there, do what you got to do, or now you've been waiting for 3 weeks, stuff came in and,
yeah.
you know, now you're sweating bullets and now you're back again. And now the customer's like, are you going to get this done? And you're, well, I
I,
got a problem. And,
yeah, I'd go buy a roll of damn cable for sure.
oh,
If
yeah.
little, I
Yeah.
call it downs,
Yep.
I'd
Yep.
buy.
I mean, even if you had the bits, you could, but I just, the reason we always did it was more for employees. You know what I mean? Like, can I do it? Yeah, I can. But you're always trying to make it systematic where it's like, it tells you the size. I normally can do it by the feel,
Yeah,
but there's no reason for you didn't hit it hard enough. You didn't, smash it. Well, you smashed it so hard, you broke it,
yeah,
type of thing. So I just always like the kit, made it kind of, I'm always trying to, including myself, always trying to make stuff idiot proof
yeah,
is how I look at it. So it's just very systematic, just like that little plier squeezer, that you got me, which thank you, by the way.
yeah,
It's just, that's the right tool for the job. It's like having a sure winder. It's like having the right
yeah.
hammer or a pry bar. It just makes your job so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Let's see. Should I have measured? What's that? Rusty guy says, should have measured the light lift before we went to the job site. Yeah, I know it seems like you try to cover everything, but you just can't catch it all. You assume it's right. What's always the bummer is when it bites you, because you didn't check it, or it's been sitting there for a week or two. That's always a kicker.
Had to get
What
a
you
pop.
playing around? Uh, Rich Bees guy says my doors are marked. I think the only thing I see is the hardware boxes sometimes look a little goofy. But yeah, I mean, Rusty, you're right. I mean, I've had it before, or I've had it before. Like one thing that gets me sometimes is like they give you two left-hand springs. You just grab the springs, you go out to the job, you're like, oh my gosh, you're like one of their employees, must have, fudge. What do I do now? Especially if you don't have a full service vehicle or
Right.
something to make it work, or you know how it is. You got a company like maybe like Rich Bees, where they give you inch and three quarter, and you carry 2 inch. So now you can tell that the customer is probably not going to catch it, or you got one that's a little rusty or a different color, and you're just like, oh man, I'm not happy with that, but it is what it is. I'll live with it.
Mm-hmm.
Doors are marked. Um, I make sure that Clopay marks everything Rusty's got. I always still think the one I really trusted the most. I think it was is it Mid American Door or Midland? I can't remember. I can't remember who that vendor is, but boy, they gave you boy, you open up that box and there was like a homemade little slip in there, like from your mommy. You know what I mean? It was like they had their initials on it. They had everything checked, rollers. You just felt so much more confident that everything was. You're like everything's here. You know
I,
what I mean? That's
I think. I
who is
think
it?
I talked about that before.
Yeah, I can't remember what that vendor is that they use out there. Really thorough, real thorough. Wayne
Mm.
Dalton was pretty good too, for the most part, except for they you know who it's for, but the problem was the stuff inside. It's like it's almost like they go by weight for there, and so they just got people on the assembly line, and they're like they put it on a scale, and they're like, "Yeah, it's off a little bit. It needs a flag bracket." And they're just like, "Yeah, we'll just sprinkle some nuts and bolts in there." And us out in the field, we're like, "Where's the second flag bracket?" And then the worst part is you'll be doing it, and it might be like a torque master, and it needs that divot. They got their special proprietary stuff, and you're just, and it's like, you know, you'd be talking to somebody like, I just make it out of a piece of angle. Like, I can't. I mean, I can, but it'll take me forever to make that dish, and it's gonna look stupid. And then do I do both of them? Like, so this is gonna add like an extra hour to my job. Lift my doors. So I make sure that Clopay. Any they straps, and they strap the springs to the box. Yep. Yep, they were strapped today, which is nice. It seemed like the one time we didn't get them strapped, so I don't know what happened, but today they were strapped. I ended up breaking the box open. That's good. What's up, Smith? Hope we're doing good.
Yeah. Hello.
Rusty doesn't do half down? No half down? Question mark? Or is
No,
that for Tony? I don't know.
probably for me because he says crazy,
Crazy. Crazy.
crazy,
Crazy.
I'm crazy.
I think what always kind of got to me was, when we worked for Lowe's, it always kind of, bothered me because I thought we do all these Lowe's jobs, and I went, these customers paid in full before, we even, and they don't even know, like they think their door's on order, and their door's not even ordered until I come out and actually do a detail. You know what I mean? And then what would happen is if I put something on there, and say, it needs another $100, then Lowe's would contact them and say, hey, the guy was out there and measured it. It looks like something's off. He's gonna, we're gonna have to charge an additional. Maybe I said 100, they charge 120. Are you okay with that? Can we approve that, or can you get that paid? And then we'll, get everything on order. Um, and I always kept thinking that always irked me, and I thought it's funny how they'll pay a retail place, and I get that I mean, I get it in the back of my head where I go, I understand it's Lowe's and they're going to get a refund and they got a receipt and all this and they're confident, but for us average people, I thought I'm just asking for half down. I'm not asking for full. I'm just asking for a half, and I think honestly, even with Jobber now, it makes us look so much more professional. And when we send it, because we got one that's it's the one that's 7'6", 7'6" wide. No, I'm sorry, 7'11", 7 foot 11 inches wide by 7'6" tall, two of them. And I already told the customer, I said, hey, I said, this is going to be a special order. And
Hmm.
basically, because this guy was already like, well, I can go to Menards and I could buy them. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, timeout. I'm like, that's what happened last time.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. That's why they're messed up. That's why the back hangs are all drooped down, and you're too tall. And so I explained to him. I said it's going to be half down, and he's like, "That's fine." He's like, I'll have half down. I'm ready." And I said, "Well, I said it's got to be put into Jobber," and I said, "Then we'll submit it." And then they have options. They can send a check. They can do credit card. I'd like to see more things in the future. Like because Venmo, I've heard. what's the other one? Zelle is
Yep.
becoming a thing. Cash App,
I do.
Apple Pay.
Mhm.
Do you do Zelle?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Zelle, PayPal, uh, Cash App.
Yep.
Uh, then I do credit card, and then check cash.
I'm starting to almost think I'd like to see those more than I would credit cards because they can do a chargeback.
Hmm.
So that's a little bit scary. Where if you do like I think Zelle or Venmo or Cash App, they can't do a chargeback.
Yeah, this
Uh,
guy here that stiffed me on these doors, he was going to paint them, and I sold them to him for 4 grand, and I need 3,000 when I go and drop them off at the garage. I need $3,000 because you're going to paint them. I said, once they're painted, they're no good to me. And he says, okay, I'll get you the money. Well, he wanted me to get him a phone number for like a website or something. And I told him, I'll have your, when I drop the doors off, I'll give you all that information. He got mad. He was an old man, got mad at me and
hmm.
said he didn't want to do business with me.
Oh boy.
I said, okay, see you, dude.
Yeah.
He had me go over to his customers, tell them all about my doors. And I wonder how he talked himself out of that one, because they wanted my doors, not his,
Yeah.
you know.
You know. No, I think like I said, I wouldn't be I never heard anything about the Google, and I've never seen anything in the forums or ever heard a blip of
Yeah,
threat on that. Not saying it doesn't exist, but I just never heard nothing. But as long
truth.
as you're given a receipt and everything, but I would be afraid because I look at it like like now you got doors sitting there, you
Hmm.
know, they're inconvenient in your life. You know what I mean? That now you need to build a bigger building. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's
Oh,
like what happened, like with
I
COVID. I
building
mean,
that.
COVID. I was like, I said, we're a freaking storage unit. I said, this is getting ridiculous. Because they send us windows and no rest of the door, but they'd send me the bill. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And the building was just getting so full. And then, I know we got stuff sitting in there too. That's just from, maybe we only used 3 sections. We had four or something. So it's like hard to chuck it. Um, but like I said, it just ties the customer up to make sure they're,
Yeah,
they're serious. You know what I mean? Like I just don't,
I
maybe
yeah.
like openers or something, or like maybe super standard, but anything that's kind of a special, like that door did today, that's colored. No, 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 no. You gotta, what I mean? And most time they understand, what I mean, long as it's
Oh
like
yeah.
half, and you can be, you know, um, upfront or whatever. But I always look at it too as like that's money you can almost like invest quicker too, right? Because when if you push your money out, we know how this goes. I mean, I think gas prices just went up again. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh well, I priced it for this, a couple weeks ago or whatever. Now, you know, I could have used that money to purchase more product before we had inflation of 10%. Had
Hmm.
that happen too, where the vendors don't tell you, and I call the secretary, and she's like, "Is this a for sure order?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." Well, I need to know because Friday they're doing a 10% increase, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Uh, yeah.
Like, order it now. Let's see here. Down. What's this say? Crazy. I used to do nothing down, but I'm starting to get half down so you can have consistent cash flow in your business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I always just look at it like it ties them up. So
Yeah.
they just don't,
Yeah.
like
I,
obviously like this guy did to you. You didn't tie him up. He just, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I mean any moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like I just had a guy, what did we have? This was quite a while ago. But we had a customer that wanted, it was either like 2 or 3 doors. They're big doors too. It was, they were gonna turn it into a storage place or a rental company. They're like 14 by 14s. They came in. We what did we do? We ended up excuse me. we had them sitting for quite a while. And it's like I've been driving by the building. And it's like, man, like, I don't see no development being done or whatever. So finally, um, luckily, right? But we got half down, but we didn't get enough half down to cover the cost of the doors. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they finally said, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if this is going to be. So would you drop the doors off? And it was like, whoa, I mean, so luckily the secretary's, she's smart on her feet. She said, well, yeah, we can drop them off, but there's going to be a fee. And so she charged another like 300 or 400, whatever it was, to cover. So we at least were basically
Even.
flat, right? Even we were losing money. And so I was like, oh, whew, but it was just like, but at least even if we still had to jeopardize something, at least we'd only be out, 300, 500 bucks versus, three or five or $6,000, wherever they cost. So that was reassuring because when that product would sit, it's like I'd be sitting there stressing. I'd be like, so like what's this gonna get, but if it's already paid for, oh at least when our vendor sends the bill, you know, that's covered. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not as you grow or get more stuff, it's not like you're sitting there going, oh man, we gotta get this, like I gotta work Saturday. We gotta get this out of here because this
Uh-huh.
stuff's sitting,
Right.
And I think we just had a commercial one that you ever eat Cole's garlic bread.
Yeah.
So that company, um, they closed the plant in Muskegon. I don't know if they're gonna. I think some Canada place bought them. But anyways, they had stuff on order, and so Cap was saying, he said before it was even on the news, he said he knew because he said the guy down there called and said, "Hey," he says, I got some stuff on order," and he's like, we and he said, "Are we able to cancel that?" Well, the way it worked was Cap had to check to make sure the money wasn't transferred. You know what I mean? Or and what we do is it's pretty known through the business. We don't order stuff till payment clears. You know what I mean? Like our payments received, then stuff gets ordered. Well, they didn't even pay yet. They didn't give us the PO or whatever. So the stuff wasn't even ordered yet. So he called them back, said, "Hey, you're good. Like we'll cancel the order." But he was sweating a little bit because he's like, man, he's like, that's over, whatever it was, like $3,000. And then he said, they still want me to do some bottom seal, and he says, I'm still kind of just trying to push it off. I said, yeah. I said, well, I said, if you do it, I said, tell them it's going to be COD. I mean, like,
Yeah.
as soon as it's slapped on, maybe I have some, I said, tell them even cash is better. I
Mm.
said, even though I know they probably won't do that, but I just, their check might bounce,
Right. Damn.
so yeah. So it's crazy.
It
Let's see
is.
how I used to do Kevin's got here. Haas has a QR code on the door. You can scan, gives you all the information of the door, spring size. Ooh, that's nice. Did you know that, Tony? That Haas has a QR code on it?
I didn't.
I didn't know. That's a good, especially the springs. That'd be nice.
I'm gonna go look.
Ooh, yeah. Your stuff's too old, probably. Let's see here. It says, old way of doing it in the garage door world.
It does.
Benefit the customer. Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Son of a biscuit. Well, it's bad you're using your phone. It's like, go over there and scan it. See what it tells you.
Right down here.
Oh yeah.
Can you see the QR code?
See, oh yeah, I see it. Oh, that's nice.
Pretty slick. I
That is
didn't.
slick.
realize-
Yeah, learned something tonight.
I know. I learn
Um,
new every day. Damn.
right. What's this say? The old way of doing in the garage door business benefit the customer to screw us. Yeah, yeah, that's it too. The customer will, they could take advantage of you. I've had it. It seems like I've had so many different ways they take advantage of you. Rich Bees. And so, how was the Invictador? It was nice. It was good. I liked that they give you blood screws. That was nice, and they give you nice handles. But I didn't see a slide lock. Um, the rope was a little bit thinner with Invicta, but I think that's slicing hairs. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I mean, same hinges. Rollers. The only thing different, the rollers didn't give you a long stem.
No.
So, but nothing where it would make me deter. I think their bottom seal's probably a little bit nicer. I know the Rich B doors are a little, they got that weird lip on the back a little bit. It's way better than most, but
Got the
uh, yeah.
metal, metal retainer. Well, right here's one. Up,
Is that it?
metal
Yeah.
with
Yeah. It sits flush though, on the side to side.
yeah.
That's kind of nice. They already come tucked in or are they long? You got to tuck them
No,
in.
they're already tucked.
Ooh, they're already tucked. Ooh, man.
Yep.
Rich B, get you some of that.
Yep. Don't have to do that work.
That's kind of nice. Let's see here. What else does he got? Rusty, Rich B. Oh, Tanner finally joined us. What's up, Tanner? Uh, only reason I don't like half down is a big check.
What's
It's
that?
like, oh, you like a big check at the end. That is
Out
true.
Tanner.
What'd you say?
Spring conversion. Tanner was doing a spring conversion. Just got done.
Oh,
He texted me right before I texted him earlier, told him we were going to do a live.
nice,
He must
nice.
be working.
Working late.
Work.
What'd you work on late the other night? You said.
Um, I went out. Well, when I was getting your tool, when I was on tool,
Is that-
I went. They had the cable, frayed cable. The cable was off. Door was crooked, and they trashed the number one, number two, and the number three hinge on the opposite side. So
Dang,
yeah,
dang.
and they were Mexican. They had to talk to me through their phone. I'd read their phone.
That just added 20, 30 minutes to the job.
Yeah, yeah.
Rusty Tony, what's he got? Evan through you. Take zero down. Do you make customers sign something?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I make them sign. Yep, I do. Yep,
gotcha.
I sure.
Gotcha.
If I, it's usually that paper that I got from Dave. If they don't sign that, then I'll write a ticket up, and I'll have them sign that, and then I just fold that over. That's kind of I just ordered a door
Right.
system.
Right.
Pretty shoeboxy.
Yep.
I don't computer stuff. I will soon, but I'm
I
not.
um I heard a guy talk about using I thought it was kind of a good thing. He said in his office and even in your garage or something, wherever you want, he had a big whiteboard and he'd write the customer and then he'd write like the status that they're in. You know what I mean? Like it was just a job and then like dash, next thing going on. I thought that's not too bad of an idea either. I kind of always use the clipboards, but
Yeah,
whatever works good for you. He said he didn't like the distraction, which I agree. Anytime you seem to open your phone, it's a distraction. So I'm the same way. Sometimes I got a big file here. I got stuff on it right now, but I got my paper that I do my agenda and stuff in. So I can focus. I don't have to be on my phone and somebody just texted me and then it's like I'm staring there looking off the space, going, well, I know I was doing something important, but what was I doing? You know.
yeah.
So all kinds of that stuff. Um, Tanner, what was he doing again? He says doing what's the done for the day. Tanner was working second shift.
Yep.
Oh
Second.
yeah. So you ended up. So what were those two jobs you had? Because whatever you kind of told me, I went, ooh. I said that sounded like quite a bit, and I thought that's why
Uh,
I was like,
well, the
you better
one
schedule.
door was buckled. It was another. It came down on dog cage, and it was all trash.
Oh,
Um, that ended up being pretty simple. Um,
right.
and I rescheduled the. There's a spring job tomorrow where it's a wooden door and it
Oh, that's right.
has that U-shaped mount where the spring mounts to that, and then
Yeah.
the, the drums inside that.
Yep.
Yeah, told that lady, I said, man, I don't have time for that day. Sorry.
Right.
She
Right.
sent a picture because she had to get her van and jockey her van over. She hit her damn track.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm gonna fix that for no cost because I paid her. I told her I said, time I was there.
Right.
And you were coming. Had door. It was early.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't have this. I said if it was just a spring job, I said I'd be on it. I said
Right.
this is gonna take me too long. I said I don't have time.
Right. Right.
I
Was it
turned.
something? Could you get the door up if you had to use the opener or something? Could you get the door up, at least get the
It was a
van
wood.
up?
I,
I
I
know.
I've had two hernias. I'm not lifting
No, you're done with that.
lifting anything. No, no. Yeah. So I'll fix her track for free. Oops. I
So
felt bad.
if she shimmered her van out, the door must have been partially opened or something. Was it
She
crooked
had
or?
two like 9x7s or whatever side by.
Oh,
She could
gotcha.
probably get my van. I said, well, that's what you're gonna have to do unless you can wait till later. Well,
Right.
couldn't make later. I, I'm gonna be there tomorrow 9. I told her I could be there at 9.
Well, it's like the old lady I went to, years ago, and I remember her door was literally outside the jam with tire tracks on it, and she wasn't there, and I get there and I'm like, oh my gosh! I mean, this is for like a lot of our technology and jobber, and I'm just like, the secretary gave me a piece of paper, and I'm there, and this is my time. I'm supposed to be here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And the lady, she finally shows up. She's got a big old Cadillac, and she comes out. She's got nice white hair. She's a sweet lady, and she's like, she goes, I had to go to the doctor. She goes, so I just put it in reverse, and she's like, I just went for it. And I'm like, what? I'm looking at her car. I can't find nothing wrong with her car. I couldn't believe not busted tail light, nothing. But she plowed right through
There.
that door. she, she's like, I had to go to the doctor. So I'm just like,
Holy cow.
okay. And I'm like, you just destroyed the store. Like, I think we ended up putting some struts or something. And then we came back and replaced it later or something. But I was just like, I'll never forget to see the cables, jetting in and the doors down with tire tracks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody just got murdered or something. Something
Yeah.
horrible.
Funny.
Uh, what's this say? What's just got done. Tanner second. What's this, Tanner? Been working second shifts for months. Says busy season around these parts. Alloy says have to install 20 by 12 tomorrow.
Mm,
Uh, After 5, just not enough time. Oh, yeah, I understand that. Not enough time in the week.
that's
Tony was
true.
feeling that today.
Fuck yeah.
Let's say
Hmm.
just did one of those last Friday. Pain in the butt, I'm assuming that's a wrench or something. What is that? Little icon. Yeah, yeah. Must be one of those Crawford. I think it's Crawford or Barkley. I don't know which, if they're both the same with springs in the end. I just thought that was interesting because I'm pretty sure Kevin's the one that told me. I was telling you today about why it's left hand, right hand because they used to be mounted on the ends.
Yeah.
So I thought, that makes sense.
Yeah. Totally makes sense.
Just I don't know what's Rusty got. Um, Rusty's what's Tanner now? Fire all, but one play. That's how busy we are. He says, I'm waiting for Dave to come to Pennsylvania. Catch up. Tanner sent me. He was like on the water. He had really nice black full view
I know
doors.
those are nice.
I was like, dude. I was like, I'll do those.
That's heavy. That's heavy. Heavy
Oh,
door.
it is heavy, but I just thought I'll do it for the sacrifice of hopefully maybe a peanut butter jelly sandwich and the view.
Sorry.
You're out. Uh, What's this? Oh, Franz. It's a Franz door. That's one of them. I don't know those Franz door. I don't. I've only seen Barkley and Crawford. I don't think I've ever seen a Franz.
Hmm. I'll have to look at it tomorrow. See if I.
Yeah. Normally the door handle, they got one of those lever handles. Sometimes they put them
Okay.
on there.
All right.
I think I got a nice Barkley one somewhere floating around. It looks so just grand. It looks like a hood ornament. So I had to take that off when I took that door apart. I saved it. What's he got here too? It says they got to load 14 by 14 doors for the job on Monday. Trying to catch up before I leave for Michigan. Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
it's coming to see you, Dave.
You ain't gonna have he ain't gonna have no time for that. He better give Saturday and Sunday. Better be skipping church. Get those doors installed. Done a
Where's
lot of that.
Tanner?
He's coming up to Holland.
Huh?
What'd you say? Where he's going?
Where's he going?
He's going
And
up to Holland,
oh,
Holland, Michigan.
oh hell, that's close to you.
I was just, what was I down there for? Something in Holland. Was I telling you I was down in Holland for something? I think I was telling your customer. Your customer actually had a grill that was from Holland, Michigan. I didn't know they made any grills over there. It was
Oh,
pretty
really?
nice. Yeah, it was nice
Uh,
stainless steel. He
yeah.
he pointed right next to it. It was right next to the, between the two garage doors. And
Yeah. Hmm.
he's like, oh, he says that's. He said he normally comes up, I guess, to Muskegon for fishing. So he goes up on the rivers. I was like,
Mm,
wow. I was like, what a small world.
that's cool.
Yeah. What's he got here? Something Rusty. How much residential work have you been doing? Is it mostly commercial? 20 by 8 and 18 by 8 install. Was that insulated? Insulated full views. Okay.
The
Just
shit.
so local. Yeah. Contractor was finished jams, missing struts. Oh, man. Told wrong headroom. So wrong
Uh,
radius. Oh,
uh,
he,
I
he was in the same boat as you, Tony.
was there today too, Tanner.
Oh, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you, Tony, I literally, I would try to, especially on some of the commercial jobs, but there was never enough time in the day. So, but I like literally almost needed to, especially when you're busy, it all compounds. And I needed to actually like go to the job site to make sure, like that evening or that day, so I knew the next day, like everything was going to be good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like you can almost like the customer or the contractor, they can waste your time. It seems like a lot. You know what I mean? Where it's like, especially new builds, because you know, But if that's why I was always really big about having everything spelled out. Like okay, like everybody's on the same. And then what I would do, because it would take us a little bit of time, is I'd actually get shop drawings too, and I would just pretty much automatically order it right away. Just get a shop drawing, and then that way, as soon as that shop drawing come in, we'd send that off to the contractor, we'd send that off to the builder, and hopefully something resonates. But that's why you can also have them sign, that that shop drawing, and obviously the invoice of whatever it's going to be, their estimate. But there's just so many things. I'm not kidding, man. There's so many things when you're in the busy time. There's so many things behind the scenes that need to be taken care of. That's why as you grow, you know what I mean? To me, garage doors are a piece of cake, you know? I mean, I'm joking saying this, but any monkey can do it. You know what I mean? It's all the stuff to make sure it's right.
That's right.
That's oh,
I,
it's just the paperwork,
mhm.
the check cleared, the credit card went through, they didn't back charge the products right, the just when the time comes, what's the job site like? Is it a dirt driveway with 4 foot ruts in it? Well, sure as hell ain't driving no minivan in that. We ain't driving, a little Frontier or something. I mean, we need
You
a
have
full
tail light.
blown truck. Yeah, yeah, tailgate. Or how far is it away from the road? You know what I mean? So do I need to
Yeah.
bring 2 guys? Do I need to bring 3 guys to huff stuff in? You know, because by the time I get all the material and I'm gonna be dying, you know, so I'm not even able to do my job. It's just there's just so many layers to this stuff, you
Mhm.
know. So I think that's why like when I was in Arizona, they they had the um installers, you know. Most of them are Mexican down there, but they had the installers, and then they would but they had a sales guy. So a sales guy would come out and basically he probably did the detail. He basically made the sale right then and there type of thing. And then he'd work it up. Product would come in, but it's probably on him, right, to make his commission and make sure everything goes smooth. So maybe he's contacting the customer too and saying, hey, you know, I'm gonna have the guys out, or you know, and he made sure they got half down, all this other stuff. There's just so much admin, you know, administration stuff behind the scenes to get stuff to be right, you know, and even
Right.
when you're 99% right, there's still that 1%, and it turns into like a 10% or 50% or whatever, you know, something still, you know, because what I think I did one not too long ago, and it was totally my fault. When the doors came in, one had 12, one had 15, and I knew setting them on the skids, the rolling carts. I was like, yeah, you know, we should change that. Well, I didn't change it. So when the day came, it's hey, let's load it up. We just chucked it all in. Luckily, it was only 3 minutes down the road, but we
Yeah.
got there. We started installing, and it's like, uh oh, we had a man door. You know, and I said, oh,
Uh,
I said this ain't gonna work. So it's like, and I was like explaining to Caleb. I said, hey, so that's why you know long distance. I said right now. He's like, well, you know, he's young, you know, so he's learning. But he says, you know, he goes, well, we could probably just go to a store somewhere. Can't we and get this? And I'm like, I said, no. I said, I said, even if you got something close from a box store, I said, it's still not going to be the right holes and stuff's just, and you can't just buy that separate. You're going to have to buy it as a whole door. And, you know, so, you know, I was trying to explain to him that's why, you know, cause he's learning, he's getting some jobs that are like, well, I got to, you know, somebody's up in like Traverse City, like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I don't, I wouldn't recommend that, dude. Like you're not, you don't have a full service vehicle. You don't know all the bad things that are going to happen. I would, you know, you can if they're going to charge you or pay a lot, but you also then think about warranty in it. You know, there's a
oh,
lot of stuff that can happen.
yep. Call back because photocell ain't aligned.
Oh,
Wouldn't that?
yep, yep. What is it? An LED bulb, you know, and then you got to
Uh-huh.
either change the frequency or change the bulb.
Yeah.
That was a good one, wasn't it? That
I, w-
frequency.
I would have thought of that. Damn.
I know, I know.
That,
I
uh,
it didn't cross me either until, you know, like I said, I was talking to Cap and I was just like, you know, you could change the frequency. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, you could change that. So I've seen a video on it. That's why I asked if you made the video because I thought,
yeah,
I can't remember who made it. And so I
I
just
did.
thought, and then it dawned on me, went, oh, I wonder if Tony would have changed the frequency, if that would have got him out of that jam.
When you said that this morning, I thought, right, that's probably what that's for.
I,
That's
uh,
why else
I,
would you?
I just thought, you know, I was still thinking about that lady. She was pretty smart on her feet,
Oh,
you know,
yep.
and I guess the one that we had problems with, he said the guy went up there and they sent him the wrong circuit board. That was part of it. So then he, you know, that kind of failed. So that's why he had to make 3 or 4 trips. And then finally, it's like, when did these lights get installed? Because I guess he said too, it's with the commercial. He said because he was telling me, he goes, you know, the fire department? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, the one that's got like, you know, like 6 doors. I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, we changed out all those openers. And he said, like a couple months later, they came through and changed all the lights in them, put bright lights in them. He said, all the openers quit working. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like, yeah. He's like, we like, luckily, he said they worked with him. So they ended up changing them to genies. He said, because we were putting extended ranges on them. We said, we couldn't. He said, so either it was like, we either change the openers or you guys should change your lights. And I guess they were willing to change the openers for whatever reason. They didn't want to get rid of their, you know, the brightness in there. And so they went to Genie. He said, we didn't have no problem. He said, we didn't have to put extended range on them. It blew right through them. It was fine. And I'm just like, why is that? Like, I'm like, are they using that different frequency or they know something? Are they putting some kind of shield that's, you know, is their signals stronger? That just blows my mind.
Hmm.
Then I guess, I think he just went to one. I don't know what model they were. They were LiftMaster, and he said he went out there. There was two of them installed in 2024. And he said it sounded like both of them would not. They weren't closed all the way. I said, "Oh, man," I said, "that sounds familiar." I said, "That sounds like when I did a horse barn." And I said, I smashed the weather seal, and I told the guy, I said, "Hey," I said, "it's freezing out." I said, "I shot the bottom of your weather seal, and I shattered it." I said, "I can't leave it like that." I said, "I gotta get you another chunk." So I'll come back in a week or something, you know? So I come back, and the place is open, so I don't really need he just knew, he's like, "Yeah, whatever." And I get there, and I'm seeing the doors. The building's got, doors are all different heights. I'm like, that's a weird spot to stop them. That ain't like a stop for like a cat or a dog or something. I'm just like,
Hmm.
no big deal. So I go in there, start pushing the buttons, and I realize that's as far as the doors go down. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Like, I'm just confused. I'm like, was he in here messing around with these? Or, I mean, I don't think he would be. And then I went up and I was talking to him at his house, and I said, hey, I said, your doors are stopped. He goes, yeah. He goes, ever, since you installed those. I said, I'm sitting there going like, kind of fluffing my peacock feathers. I'm like, well, I mean, I know I talked, checked them out and tested them, and so I'm sitting there, my wheels are spinning. I said, "Are you shutting the power off, or you have, power out?" He goes, "Well, I've been shutting the breaker off." He says, "'Cause I want to walk out there and shut the lights off." And I'm like, okay. I'm like, with these newer openers, I was like, you can't do that. And I have no idea why. I said they did that. I don't. I always wonder if they have like a little battery in them, like it never gets charged enough, or if they sit long enough, the battery gets old. Kind of like what like old alarm clocks and stuff used to have. Those are like a watch. Have like a little residual battery or something that would keep the memory of stuff.
Hmm.
So I don't, I was just thinking about it today, and I thought, I need to go meet with LiftMaster and be like, I need to talk to somebody that knows the ghost and say, like, why would this do this? You know what I mean? Like, what could cause this? Well, you know, the, it didn't cycle enough. You got to cycle at least 10 times for it to finally learn all of its, parameters or something. Oh, okay. Well, or, or what, let's see here. Exactly. What's he got? Let's see. We do a lot of residential, but I have two guys that mostly I sometimes want a day off, so I go some residential doors. Me and another guy do mostly commercial. Oh yeah, a good old commercial. What do we got here too? Oh wait, look, we got it to 6 likes. Thank you guys for the likes. Um,
I got
what's
for you.
this? Go
I
for it.
put 14 foot. It's maximum LiftMaster, the new style, customer
Yeah.
day, and they were working on the power. They shut the power off, turned the power back on, and he don't have no light on the wall button now. He
Mm.
normally has a blue light.
Yeah.
What
What would that be?
board
Probably
power?
fried something.
That's what I think. So I told my
I don't.
customer he's not happy.
I don't hear anybody talk about the Maxima anymore.
I think they're doing away with them. I mean, I don't
I'm
know.
just saying, I don't get nobody that messages me, emails me.
I don't
I
buy
don't
them.
I don't hear them anymore. It's like they
I
just went kapoof. You know,
Yeah. Well, I
it's
got
like a
one.
tickle me Elmo. It's just gone.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was a
one.
hot craze and just gone.
I, I think he's got a circuit board that blew.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the wall button because they got a circuit board in them. Probably could
Oh,
be the board inside the opener. Maybe. So now what do you do? Just bring a whole another unit with you. You know.
he just put that. That ain't been in that long. Maybe a little over a year.
Kevin said he installed 3 of them yesterday, so it must be still out there. I didn't know if you could still buy them. I thought
Yeah.
they were supposed to redesign something. Did they ever come out with the redesign, Kevin? Like something like a pull cord? Like, I think that was the big thing, is they have a pull cord to release them. What's this say here? I do that too, just so I don't show up to the door. The garage is full. Yeah, full of shit. He says, and can't work.
Mm.
Yep. I mean, but it's a pain. It's a real pain in the butt, because that's an added charge. It costs you, your time and your gasoline and wear and tear and all that. So it's kind of a, so I mean, how many times do you visit a door? You got one, two, you got a third one in there possibly for a callback, so four. So now you got like possibly four trips, three guaranteed, you know. Dun, door. What's this say here? Which is exactly the Salvador is easy as making a big sale in the beginning. That's I like the most. Oh yeah, everybody likes, making the sale, collecting the money,
Uh,
and then when it's time, that's always what makes the what is it, the boys from the men, because it's a lot of logistics. I see it all the time. You know what I mean? Like when you're in business, like people show up and it's just like, I mean, Caleb's got some experience in it now because he has to load up his own truck and stuff for certain jobs, but it's easy for him to hop in a truck with me, and I've, you know, spent the whole night thinking about it, spend the morning getting everything still, going through my list, checking things twice, okay, make sure the truck's full of gas. We're going kind of this distance. Okay, you know, oh, make sure I got my water bottle. Okay,
mhm. What'd you think
but,
of my work, Dave?
what's that?
What'd you think of my worker?
Oh, Jeff, he's great. I like Jeff.
Hurting a skillet, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he, he's
For a
he's he's
60-year-old man, he.
oh yeah, he boogies, man.
I,
The customer has seen him. He busted his hand on something, I guess, because I heard the customer go, "Oh man," he goes, "Workman's comp," and I seen Jeff was kind of like holding his hand, and I didn't see it, so I was like, "Oh, I don't know if he slammed the door down." And he's like, he said something about arthritis or something. He said,
oh,
"Yeah,
his
like it'll come back in arthritis or something."
yeah. He hit his knuckle. I heard him say he has an
Oh,
arthritis in his knuckle, and he smacked it, and
oh,
it really hurts. He was like
dang.
laying over the trailer. Oh,
Yep. Yep. That's all I seen. I see him kind of, I just was kind of looking like, no blood, you're good.
he just gets going, man. I can't slow that guy down for nothing.
No,
He
he's
just,
great. I like,
he,
I like working with Jeff.
yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah. Let's see here. Some doors making, let's see, Rusty Rich. I went to a unit that had full swimming pool.
Yeah.
Oh, swimming pool in the garage.
What?
I went back to the office, told them I couldn't fix the opener without being in the pool. Got evicted or was evicted, is that? Yeah. We had one at a marina, I remember one time, and, it was a little there was stuff, like I said, it feels like when you're in the business, you gotta play detective, and so Cap called me on it. He said, "Hey, I wanna consult you on this." And I said, "Okay, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, the guy's saying we can step on his boat." I said, "Ooh," I said, "That already sounds kinda," people normally take a lot of pride in their boat, and I said, "So when we drop a rail and the water's moving," and I said, "I don't know about that." And then, well, then he said something about what got me is he said, "Well, overhead is supposed to do the opener, but they just haven't gotten around to it yet." I'm like, I said, "That sounds really suspicious." I said, like, "So did he already pay overhead or overhead's got it on the books?" I said, "I think we're just gonna have to," I would say something like, "Just let that one go."
Uh-huh.
Because I said, by the time we get a piece of machinery in there, I said, they even boom us out. 'Cause I said, "Yeah, you're on the boat." I said, "But how do you get to the nose?" He's like, "Yeah." And I said, darn well. I said, "We don't want to put a jack shaft on there." I said, "We know we'll blow the cables off. The door's going to be crooked and who's going to work on that?" So I said, you gotta have two pieces of machinery. And I said, "So you do the job." I said, a month later, they call back because now something messed up.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Get these $1,000 to $2,000 pieces of machinery back in there dropped off? Like who's flipping that bill?
Yeah.
So I
Well,
said, I think I would just tell him he better wait for overhead.
I don't.
Rusty's guy says, "Do you
Yeah.
do you go back with the swimsuit?" Rusty's guy. Let's see here. Rusty, do you guys have, like I said, contractors? especially work with. We don't really need to sell jobs. We just get called and say, order this. Sometimes public bids are public people's, but what is this? But 90%.
Hmm.
Yeah, those ones can be a lot of I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I've done a lot of commercial and I just when they're not built, and especially if you're not that's where I always look at like you better have your estimate or your invoice or however you're doing it, that has to be signed, signed and dated and everything. And then I need a what do you call it? Just had it when they give you the blueprint of the door. I need that signed. You know, because that's what it's going to be built to, and that shows all the heights and stuff and where the
Mhm.
track's going to come out. Because those ones always seem like, and then it's always like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because it's like you almost want to get in there when the building's there. There's like no floor, which is a real bear. Like that adds a lot of extra work and sand. It sucks, but nobody else is there, so it's like you're first. So when the sprinkler guys come, sorry, baby, not my problem. My stuff's already up. The HVAC guy comes, psst, whatever, dude. My stuff's up. You know what I
Y
mean? The lighting guys come, psst, but if you're like the last guy, you know,
yeah,
you're in everybody's way and your materials in the way, and it's like, you know, you're,
then
y-
but
yeah, you got to lift the lights up, and then it's like, is it your job to like snip the lights? And then if there's any kind of water suppression, obviously you don't touch that, and you can't have nothing touching the water suppression. And then they're supposed to typically put the sprinklers underneath, so they're gonna have to come back anyways, and they're all like, "Well, I didn't know the door was gonna be up so high, otherwise I would have ran the pipe up there." And it's just like, I know, like, I just can't please everybody. What's this? We don't work. What's this of the time? They just go with us because they know the alternative is here. Tanner says, yeah, Speedo. And Rusty got asked to leave. Yeah. We don't work with many contractors. They are looking for someone who is cheap so they can mark your work up. The only contractors in the area are corporate ones. We do 90% residential. Yeah,
mhm.
I didn't. Did you? I didn't know this for the longest time, but most time the contractors or the builders, they'll just run through you in a sense. So they're just looking for a number. Give me a number. Give me a number.
Yeah,
You give them a number, and then they add 10% to it. And then when they get the job, well, that's when they go back and they'll start calling other vendors or you or whoever and say, well, I got somebody, that'll do this or do that, or your number was super high, uh, certain things like that. But I never knew they did that whole, that 10% for the longest time. So I started figuring out the game. So that's why what I would do is I would always just, if they wanted a number, normally it was just double, all right, I'll get the material, just take it, angle, whatever, openers, just double it. Here's your number.
yeah.
It ain't serious. Nothing's written down. Nothing's in the contract. This is just a verbal. A lot of work. What's this saying? Contractors. Kevin says that's better than the gate opener I did a couple years ago. It says something about was it nudist? Nudist colony? Holy cow.
Mm, yeah.
They don't put clothes on? Oh my gosh. Outsiders are there working. Sheesh. Wow. Let's see. A lot of my work comes from past company referrals since we have had a business since 1989. So they just say, do it. Installed 3. Catching up here a little bit. Yeah, let's see here. What's Tanner got? He says, yeah, it's a nice thing. Company I bought was 30 years. Company was roughly 10 years on my own. So got the best of both worlds. 90% of commercial for contractors, the farmers, and they did 90% residential. So now we dominate it all.
Wow, that's
Just
great.
gotta hire some more people. What's that? You gotta watch. Is it Tommy Malo? Isn't he's got some seminar out there right now or something? He's talking about how to get out of the truck,
Mm.
release cord and longer. Okay, so yep, it says release cord and longer output shaft. Oh, nice. Let's just say this is weird. So what's the one that they're eliminating? Was it the one we put in today? Was it the 83?
8365 That's what that paper Rusty sent you.
Yeah, and that's a DC, right?
Let me go look.
I think that's a DC.
I think it's DC. I don't think it's AC. Oh,
Release cord output.
that's AC.
Oh, it is AC. That's probably why they're eliminating it. Okay. Okay. I just thought that's kind of weird they're eliminating it if it's a DC.
Yeah.
That's an AC unit. That's why they're getting rid of it. And you really like that because it was just affordable?
Well, it always the 267 always come with a keypad and two remotes.
Right. Right.
I don't know, just it's always been that 8365. Then they added the zero. That's always
Yeah.
my one. The 8165 is okay. That's what, one light.
Yeah. Yep.
I,
And then that
you
wasn't
know,
the quarter horse, was it?
it's a little cheaper
Yeah.
made.
I just
Uh,
didn't know it was the 81. Was the 8160 or 8060 R5 or something I had that was a quarter horse? That was a little bit.
like that, yeah. This just that 8365 0267. I just like it. It's never, it's been good. Been good.
Right. Uh, now. Let's see. Release core Tanner. That's weird about Maxwell and Tony. They should keep everything, even if no power, for days.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, you know how it is. It could have been a power surge, so it might, when they're flipping stuff on and off. I mean, that
mhm.
stuff scares me. I mean, even that genie, that screwdriver we did um, at the pot shop, they're in there cutting power, and I'm just like, I'm like, I really don't want to install this right at the moment. And they're over there playing with, high voltage
Yeah.
wires, turning things on and off. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, it's working. What happened? You know? And I think Cap said he was saying about putting a surge protector, which you're supposed to anyways. But he was saying that he says if you buy the good ones, they're like $100. And I'm like, sheesh. I'm like, 'cause I don't know if that's for the actual Genie brand ones, but I'm like, dang, it's quite a bit. Keep everything, no power for days. Let's see when is Rusty's. When is your next door? Install Tony.
I've got two
Probably.
more in before I go to Florida for a couple weeks.
Oh, nice. Tanner says we did a job 1 year where the guy had a full of catfish. Was this a catfish pool? Huh. In his building, like 10, 15 long, 10 wide, looks like 10 feet deep. Travel all over catfish. Huh. Keep them alive.
Oh wow.
And his pool thing. That's weird. Huh. That is interesting. It says, yeah, if they were messing with power, need to make sure. This is from Kevin. Sure, power's still going to the opener. Sounds suspicious that they messing with power, and now it's no lit up.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you get out of the customer. I said, hey, did you verify there is power up at the unit?
Right.
And he's a foreigner, and I couldn't get.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I got, I got to go over there tomorrow and see what's up with that. I mean, I thought it was kind of weird. He said that blue light, it's got a little window in it. on the big wall button. And he said, that blue light's always on. He said,
Hmm.
after they turn the power back on, it's not on. I said, hmm. I said, he goes, would a wire like come disconnected? I said, I highly doubt it. I said, sounds like it's a power surge. They turned back,
Right.
blew your board,
Yeah.
and didn't like that. Isn't it warranted for 2 years?
Oh gosh, here we go.
Under no damn power surge. You just
I
told
know.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate.
I know that's why a lot of this, this newer technology really scares me because it just
Oh,
seems like it's just getting worse and worse with, and then
seems weak.
right, and then like you said, you got, now you're dealing, it just compounds, it's nothing against the customer, but you got somebody that can't really speak that good to you, and now you got to go back, and now you got told this story, and then now, he didn't have to tell you that. It can make you
Yeah,
just, be searching and scratching your head, and then, you know,
good guy.
yeah,
But to be honest with them, it's a new system. I don't know it.
right, right.
I don't.
You don't know the glitches of what they have.
I don't know. I put two in. I
That's
put.
why with LiftMaster, they've really irritated me because like the ATS, um, was it the ATS, LiftMaster ATS.
Oh yeah.
That was my last go-to opener. And then they decided, well, we're going to the W. And I'm like, for the love of God, I'm like, would you just leave it? And like, if I got to still pay 20, 40, $60 more for it, that's on me. And like,
Yeah.
give me a better reason. Tell me that the government's making you do it. Tell me that,
Mm.
um, they're not going to manufacture copper anymore. Give me something instead of just like, oh no, we're coming out with the ATS W. And guess what? It's going to have Wi-Fi. And I'm like, I don't give a rat's about the Wi-Fi. Like, I'm installing these for Amish people out in the middle of goddamn Michigan. like, like they ride a horse and buggy. You know, and
Every.
I install these things, and I'm not going to. I install these things. They tell me it could be 2 months, it could be 6 months, it might be 2 years before they get the openers hooked up. With power out to the building, and I'm like, not a problem. I already set it off a generator. Here's the remotes. They're hanging up there. Just plug it in. You're gonna be rock and roll. The new
Yep.
stuff. I lose sleep at night. I'm sitting there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yep.
So that's why I'm always just like, I wish they would treat us like adults and grown men, and be like, this is what's going on. Hey, we have we're gonna make this product. It's gonna be cheaper, but it's cheaper. But we're gonna leave this. But here's the Speed Queen. You know what I mean? Here's the Speed Queen. If you want to pay this price, here's the Speed Queen. And I'd be like, okay, I still want my ATS because I was literally taking ATSs and I was putting them on 7 foot doors. I think I was getting the rail. I think the rail would plop on them, so I'd just get a 7 foot rail, put an ATS head on it because I couldn't get basically any mechanical limits anymore,
Mm.
and just making it work that way. So, but now it's like just like with 8365, zero, you know, yeah, that's always been a tried true. It's been pretty bulletproof, and now, oh, guess what? We're getting rid of it. Of course
Yep.
you are. And that's the thing is what I like about it too is over time as a technician, we know what to anticipate from the machine. You know what I mean? We're like, well, I know this problem. But when you
Yep.
keep throwing this new product at us, I'm always like, and that's like, what do you tell the customer? Like, well, I thought you were the professional. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they keep changing. And so
I
I'm
am.
I'm the guinea pig. What'd you say?
I said I am to the old stuff, not this new.
Right, right, right. So it just gets kind of, it's like, quit messing with things.
I always tell
Uh,
everybody they'll say, "Well, how do I program that to my phone?" I say,
oh boy.
"Your youngest grandkid, the one that's maybe 2, 3." I said, "They'll be able to do it for you." But
Uh,
I said, "Because anybody with some age on 'em, they ain't gonna know what to do."
uh, It says Tanner's got here, and then Ethan wanted. He says sweet girls, same time because catfish is nasty, but who cooks it? Evan, finally, Evan's
And,
here. What's up,
and
Evan? I thought for sure he was passed out. I think he's. I
I
don't want to
thought
say.
it was bedtime. It is kind of late. Well,
It's getting there. He might be. I'll let him just divulge. I ain't gonna say anything. He might be he might be doing something. I don't know. He might be sick or something tomorrow. He can put it on there if he wants. Let's see here. It says man, your guys contractor suck. That's great. Thing about small town. He says Iowa. We're all pretty loyal. Been installing for same contractors for 10.
nice.
My numbers go up. They don't care. I get
Wow.
I missed something. Price, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Every building. Yeah. So I mean that's why it's a few months ago contractor gave them. Yeah, I mean that's why it's really cool, having having everybody here because there's just so much there's so many different demographics.
Mm.
Um, I get stuff from Rusty, I get stuff from Tanner, I get stuff from Evan, I get stuff from everybody, Kevin, and I'm always just like, yeah, certain things just don't fly here, and things there are different, and so it's pretty cool. Evan's got 83650 is AC. Yep, that's AC. That's probably why LiftMaster's getting rid of it because they only want DC.
Hmm.
And probably like the installer, not the installer, my vendor used to tell me. He's like, "You know why they're going to DC?" And I'm like, "'Cause they're lighter?" He's like, "No." He's like, "'Cause they're cheaper." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, why not, right?"
Boy makes
But I think
cheap.
that's gonna be Genie does that, right? They put the gear and the motor, it's like all in its own housing, so it's gonna be probably more of a throwaway, is my
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah.
Be pretty cool to get our somebody get their hands on it. I'm assuming your vendor pretty on top where you can get yours kind of sooner than later.
Newer
Like, can
stuff.
you? Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they have anything yet.
No, I don't think they're coming out till like the end of October
Oh,
or
are they? Yeah,
something like that.
it'll probably be where I see them. I'm hoping.
It's got
I don't
what did
like
I
chain.
miss here? The chain drives.
I don't like change.
Oh, change. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want that.
yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Depending on what years. Where am I at here? Tanner. I'm gonna ask price scratch door. He said no problem. Something here. Did anyone else get the email for the new LiftMaster 3.0 openers? I believe so. The most expensive in your area, Tanner. What's Evan got? With everything being DC, it might start offering chain drive, battery backup, belt drive, and side mounts. Does that make any sense? I don't know what that means. What's with
With the
everything being
DC, I might start offering chain drive, battery backup, belt. I don't know.
maybe he was probably always sticking with AC before, you know what I mean? Where so now he's just gonna explore the DC world.
Hmm.
Ain't gonna hurt, he can always try different things. It's just a matter
Right.
of, if you start having problems or callbacks or your your vendor who gives you good service. Uh,
Because you got to have more parts. That's why I
yeah,
sell, one unit, so I have the parts for it.
right, right.
And
Makes sense.
you sell all these different units, then you got to go work on it. Shit, it's a lot.
I used to try to keep like, it's like they make it sound so easy. When you talk to like the sales rep and that from LiftMaster or something, they're like, well, you really only need to carry 3 boards. Well, then it turns into 4 boards, and then it's just like, dude, these things are, $100 some dollars a piece, or now 200 probably. But and,
Mm.
and they're banging around your vehicle. You know how it is. We're thrashing things around. It's like, man, and then you know how it is by the time you ever use it, 6 months, 8 months, a year later, you install it and it's like, I don't even know if this thing's any good. It's all scratched and beat up. And, you know, so it's just like,
Mhm.
they used to make it sound, I think service people had it, the older guys, probably with even HVAC and stuff. It used to be a lot easier. Hey, you bring a thermocoupler, you got a thermostat, some wire, whatever, maybe one burner assembly for most of the common stuff, and you were good to go. But and
Mhm.
then now, well, think about like the gear kits, right? If the gear kits are gone, now you got to buy the whole motor assembly. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
to me, you're just better off bringing a whole opener and either gutting or just put the opener up and take that one back and hopefully get warranty or whatever.
Mhm.
But they'll probably be like Genie. Genie would like never give you a head unit, which always irritated me. They'll give you parts all day long, but the problem is, you order this part, you go up there, and nowadays we don't know if the part's any good. So you
Right.
install it, then it's like, okay, it's not working. So you call tech support, they go through their whole rigmarole. Well, we think it could be this. Okay, well, let's get that. Then you get that part, and you could be chasing a bad part already installed. You go up there 3 times. It's been a month or two later. Now the customer's sitting there, tapping their feet going, so
Yep.
you know are we like, I'm really getting sick of opening my door, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
uh,
I guess I'll put one in for free.
right, right. And that's what I was trying to do. Sometimes we change them, but then you start getting a pile in your garage, and it's like, well, what's wrong with that one? I don't remember. What's wrong with that one? I don't remember. And then it's like you can't replicate it. What I mean, you'll fire it up on the bench. You're like, I don't know, it's working fine. But then you're sitting there going, it came out of the field for something. So do I like snooker somebody into a used, or this is new? And then we go back down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
and that's like, then they
No.
eventually just either get tossed or whatever. It's like, some vendors are pretty good. They'll swap them out for you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Most expensive DC might bridge you. Offer whatever makes you the most money, least callbacks. Oh, so you got to start doing Performax. Got it.
That's
From
why I
Menards.
sell the 8365 0.
Right. Yeah, they just work good for you.
Yeah.
They gave you the least amount of headache.
Yeah.
Oh, and then what makes you the most nice callbacks Tanner's got. I assume so, Rusty. I have been told multiple times we are, but like it's what does it say in the name? We build this assurance you can get. Other door companies don't do a great job. They can get the job done, just not great. Uncle call other was a big commercial company. It was a year ago. So it was price on 24 by 16 opener install. Let's see, it was 15 more uh, than them, so it must have been more. Uh,
Mm.
I wish I had people like that.
Yeah.
They just, I was kind of thinking about it, and I thought, sometimes I think about most of the builders and stuff, and I just go, not really. So it's like, I guess in a nutshell, hopefully you're making that money. Hopefully you're investing that money, because like all it's going to take is like another door company. Like for us, I've been seeing like, it's like pro lifts coming around. I know they don't do like commercial and stuff, but then you got A1 that's pushing hard,
Mhm.
so there's a lot of competition that's kind of been, seems like it's been picking up a little bit more. And I think one thing I always remember that stuck with me a little bit too, that I've noticed now with more years, is I had a guy tell me very early on. He always told me, he said, he goes, it kind of must suck for you. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, he goes, you make relationships with builders and vendors like myself. And he says, and then we age out or we retire or we change careers. And I was like, that's I know at that time I was just beginning, so I was just like, everybody's new right now, bud. Like, like we don't have that. But as time has gone on, I can remember so many faces now that've come and gone, or something happened. They got fired. They were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. We were just having a conversation the other day, me and Cap, about a couple guys, and sometimes they stay with you, sometimes they don't. I've had some vendors. It absolutely does not matter because they're actually like I found out one through somebody just telling me that they're friends. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, I said I wouldn't even entertain." I said, he's like, "Yeah, they're like high school buddies, grew up." I'm just like, "Oh yeah," like I'm not gonna try to push, you know,
Yeah.
like try to tell that guy like, "Hey, why don't you give us a try?" Uh, what's this, Tanner? You with everything, I might miss something here, but we'll see. It seems like everyone is dropping AC units. Yeah,
Hmm.
everybody's dropping AC units because if you ever pick up an AC unit versus a DC unit, the AC unit's way heavy. And if you ever tear one apart, yeah, obviously it's a big hunk of copper in there.
Hmm.
So that's why.
Yeah, you notice that motor, that new motor's that
Right,
big.
right. Yep. I think I thought Andy had a video out there, one that got pretty destroyed. And like I said, I don't know. Like when I did my water pump, that was kind of the same thing. It was like that one was almost like a DC motor. I only had one capacitor, and it said, "Oh, it had the sticker on it. So you may need to stick a screwdriver in this to fire it up." And then I had to do it every time it wanted to turn on. Then I finally bought an F and W, and that one had sparks like when it first turned on. And it had two capacitors, big motor, and I'm just like, "That's what I want. I want the Hemi. Like I don't care what the electric bill is. Like I just want it to work." What's it say? Where am I at here? I'm missing it. Seems like everyone, Rusty, yeah, but debating on whether to buy another 50. The new green world, which he's got. Let's see for us, it's the puppy looking for a deal. I can get prices go with cheaper. 5% we lose. Oh, this is contracts around here. Talk. Yeah, know if you do good work or not. Uh, he's
Oh,
skipping
yeah.
work.
Tomorrow. What?
Yeah, yeah. It was to say Canadian holiday.
Oh,
uh, Tanner's guys, that's Spirit Evan. Yeah, playing hooky. To do garage doors. Hookie's got it up, and then yeah, Rusty. Liberal days celebration. Let's say, oh, there you go, National Syrup Day. That's funny. 16 by, what was this guy, Rusty? 16 by 7.9. We are doing tomorrow. 2-inch thick with insulated glass. Ooh, it's nice
oh,
to have insulated glass.
oh, heavy. So,
Double, oh, yeah, double extension springs. Rusty's likes the extension springs.
oh,
I,
yeah.
I just cannot figure out how. I feel like there was somebody else on here that likes the extension springs too. I can't remember who.
Hell
Was
no.
it Kevin? Kevin, like, those are like the death, man. Like, that's just asking for trouble.
We just
Uh,
spring
what's that?
job yesterday.
Extension spring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind changing them out, but I don't like
We
them.
c I think they kinda leaned up on it a little bit to let them back in because, like, I think what happened is we had a protocol at one time that was like, if it's extension springs, we don't touch it. Like, you gotta call somebody else. And then there was a guy that got kinda huffy about it. He had a fiberglass door that was still in pretty good shape, and so, you can't really. I've done one before where, but you gotta get really light wire. I think it's like a 192 wire or something.
Mhm.
But so it's kind of but we don't really come across too many, I don't think. But like I was telling you, that one that was the renter. now she's selling it. I was like, oh, that's different. Well, that's got extension springs, and the cables are all off, and the door's crooked, and that's just what happens with extension springs, in my opinion, because people are jerking on them,
Yeah.
and they lift on the sides, and then they whip them up, and or they're picking up one side, and that side's dragging.
Hmm. And so I tell them you got
So
center lift. You got to lift in the center.
yeah, but you know how it is if you got renters and kids and
They don't care.
no, and they don't get it. They're sending everybody and their brother to you open my door.
Yeah.
I'll open it. Watch this. Uh, what does it say? I figured something Tanner National Syrup, something here. We got looking for lifting. This is looking forward to lifting that thing. Oh, what a beast.
Hmm.
Tanner's got Y extensions, low headroom with bulkhead in rear. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh
Makes
yeah,
sense.
do that.
Yeah. Mount them on the side.
Yeah.
Get get counterweights like we do the car washes. Um, I like extension sprays. They roll smoother. I don't know if they do. I mean, I guess maybe they don't make like I don't know if I've ever heard like extension springs make the spring clatter, like how cables will wrap up on the drums, they make that clatter noise or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like for the peace of mind, it's just not, you know, for me anyways, for peace of mind callbacks, it's just not worth the headache or the liability of something flinging or flying or um, you know, I've had personal family members that I remember like a muscle car that got damaged, because that thing went flying. I
Oh
remember I've
yeah.
been to another one, the back door was smashed out. And I'm like, do you have somebody break in your house? And they're like, no. They're like, that's why you're here. Cause that. And I'm like, what? And like, I think somehow like the bolt or the pulley went flying. I think my dad had one blow out the back of his cabinet of his garage pretty far back too. Um, you know, I've had a lot of them where it's like
Oh,
little ladies that have their walkway out of their house and they're standing right there. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm like, can you like either go back in the house? I'm like, because you're in a really bad spot. Why low battery makes like extension strings. Taylor says, sorry guys. Last day tomorrow. Do you get bed? That's right. We're going to bed here pretty soon too. We're
I
hitting
know.
midnight. Tony's got to go night night.
I
All right,
know.
guys, later.
Barely
Good night.
eyeball open.
Right. That's right. Well, we're almost wrapped up here. Let's see what I haven't sold. Oh, it's just a 365 LiftMaster receivers, so customer could use
Oh,
HomeLink with this old Stanley dip switch unit. Huh.
wow.
Well, good job.
Nice.
Uh, got a door opener center opener tomorrow, and two opener and one garage Sunday. Holy cow, man! Good
Nice.
for you. That's right.
Busy.
So I've been giving them some crap. I've been like, you got to get the spring, or not the spring, but you got to get the cable. Some cable makers. It's time to start getting some springs in stock.
Yep.
You know,
Cable, some hinges, some rollers.
and what I used to do if I didn't know if I'd come across just standard doors I know is pretty common in my area. I would just order two. That's how I did it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'd be like, all right, well, I got to order these springs and this, or, you can write a little note too and start seeing what wow, I've used this 3 or 4 times. I'm going to, order an extra pair. And then you get another size that seems pretty common. Just order another pair. Like I said, then hopefully you can bring those with you for a broken spring, or maybe if they're taking pictures and you go, oh, that's a 16 by 7 non-insulated door. Nah, I
Yeah.
just, I wear my 207s and my 218s, and I at
Yeah.
least have a chance. You
Right.
know, so might be something to think about. But anywho, we probably should wrap it up, Tony. You
Yes,
got
sir.
your uh, got your 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I got a full day tomorrow again.
Yeah, man. Today was, let's not get no cherry on the top today or tomorrow, okay?
Uh, easy.
No pulling over by Johnny Law.
I'm wondering what that's going to cost me.
I thought maybe your state told you. You know, some of those states out there, they probably like where Tanner's at in Iowa. You know, they do it right on the side of the road. You can pay me now, or you can pay
I
it later. You know,
I would have paid for it to get it out of the way.
right, right. Because now you got that lingering, and maybe
Yeah,
you forget or something doesn't get centered
yeah,
right. Next thing you get pulled over, and they go, "We got a warrant for your arrest." You're like, "What?"
yeah. That's what it was with this last ticket. I thought it was a different day. I went in. I was already late. Yeah,
Oh, isn't it funny how they give you like, you know, for them they get like 30 days or 60 days or whatever, but then like for us we get like either 5 or 10 days.
yeah,
You know, and it's like 5 or 10 days. Like, man, you know, I'm running a business. Like, I'm busy. What if I had a job? Like, you know, how do I, you know, when are you guys open? You guys open Saturday? Oh no,
yeah,
we're not open Saturday. Oh, okay. You know. All right, man. Want to say goodbye?
yeah. All right, guys. I really appreciate you watching tonight. The 10 likes. That's awesome. Dave, thank
Yeah.
you down today and helping me. You
Hey,
can
it was fun.
you can always send me the bill for what I owe you. Didn't let you eat lunch. Nothing. I planned lunch.
Oh no, it's all good, man. You just pay that speeding ticket. It's all good, or the
Yeah,
light ticket, not the
I'd
speeding
like
ticket.
to. Yeah. All right. Go ahead and say your part.
All right, guys. Yeah, I really do appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for all the comments. It always makes it more fun when you guys got all the comments, and
Oh,
plus, you know, hey, I'm learning stuff. Papa Tony's learning stuff. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. We always appreciate it. And with that, I guess
yeah.
keep your fingers.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. You know, and have a good Friday.
That's right. Papa Tony out. Later, guys.